ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Michelle, and Tackett, and I had a video done about me, and not in a flattering way, which I think is kind of sad, you know. If this person does not like me, that's fine, even though they don't even know me. But they came to one of my videos and called me an autogynephile. So I automatically knew, like, She made a video about me saying that I was an autogynephile and said that she had a face she wanted, that I had a face that she wanted to, you know, punch. Violent threat, anyway. Saying that I'm nothing but a pervert. I have something like, she is a fan of Blanchard, who is an actual known homophobe. And she's a little, and I don't like the saying pick-me girl, because you know what? If women want to marry an old-fashioned man, that doesn't make them a pick-me girl, that makes them traditional. Fine. To me, that's a beautiful thing. With her, I'm using the term pick-me-girl. She's a pick-me-girl for TERFs. She's one of the, I'm the good transsexual, J.K. Rowling, put your boot on me to suffocate me and throw me under the bus while you work with neo-Nazis. Yes, no neo-Nazis like Richard Spencer who actually agree with her take on transgenders. Let that one sink in. And of course, she left a comment putting down people from third world countries. Yeah, that's racist automatically. I don't care if it is a transsexual TERF. Scratch a TERF, you will, or gender critical, whatever they want to call themselves, you'll find a Nazi, a Klan member, which is why I kind of laugh at all the right-wingers who want to join these TERFs, gender critical, whatever they call themselves, and trying to own the trans people. Because, number one, these radical feminists have said things like, all men are potential rapists, all men are causing the world's problems, every man is a potential threat to a woman. So you guys what, are feminists now? And to the feminist, the TERFs who call themselves feminist or gender critical, whatever, you're working with a group of people that have some real radicals on their side. You're willing to overlook their positions on things that you say you value, like pro-choice, gay rights, rights of people of color and stuff, which is a bunch of bullcrap. The only reason you're using these right-wingers is, you know, to get trans people. That's it. Anyway, let's go into this. Blanchard's little Autogynephilia, and there was a thorough course-warping of this garbage back in 2020. But believe it or not, and I'm going to put links, tons of links, below of study after study after study that has debunked his nonsense. So autogynephilia means, folks, that if you're a trans woman, you basically have this perverted sexual feel about yourself. That you think you're sexy, and just being a female makes you aroused, and dressing in women's clothing and stuff. And somebody, one of my friends on a social media platform, pointed out something brilliant. Because if we went by your man, Blanchard's logic, 93% of cisgendered women are autogynephiles. According to a couple of studies, and guess where these came from, folks? Maxim magazine. I am not a fan, but when I looked on there, they actually had a good article that talked about women who love themselves and think that they're so sexy and stuff. According to Dr. Michael Aaron, a New York City therapist and author of Modern Sexuality, The Truth About Sex and Relationships, it's extremely common for a woman to be sexually attracted to herself, and it's called autosexuality or autoeroticism. And as vain as it sounds to want to have sex with yourself because you're so gosh darn hot, it's not narcissistic at all, apparently. It's very common for people to be aroused by themselves, to varying degree. Dr. Aaron tells Refinery 29, some experience it more like an orientation, and it feels more aroused by themselves than by others. 93% of women are autogynephiles. Oh, and by the way, honey, on your page, which I'm going to show, you brag about your OnlyFans page, and being in porn and everything. Number one, there's a lot of gender-critical feminists who think porn is just bad. Secondly, who else would do porn and an OnlyFans page unless somebody thought they were sexy? Are you an autogynephile? I don't think you're probably counting on people to come out to defend you, but you said some pretty, really bad, ignorant things. I think people are going to be ashamed to stick up for you. You were even getting negative comments in your video. Oh, it's hilarious. So here's some stuff, though. This is what it really boils down to autogynephilia. According to this way of thinking, a gay man has a female sexuality and a lesbian woman has a male sexuality. This is why the story goes, all gay men are effeminate and all lesbian women are butch. Strong masculine men who are gay and feminine lesbians don't exist. I should tell you the red flag on his theory automatically. Continuing, this isn't true obviously, but it was a neat and simple to understand model. Transgender women were extremely effeminate gay men, and transgender men were extremely masculine lesbian women, and I should have said this at the very beginning, that, yeah, there's some really bad transphobic crap in this, so if you don't want to watch, I completely understand, okay? So I apologize. They talk about if Blanchard is right, there's no such thing as a bisexual trans person. And that if there is a bisexual trans person, they are much closer to the autogynephiles. But in the study, it showed that they were closer to androphilic, okay? Not autogynephiles. They got this from Madeline H. Winzid, pointed it out back in 1998. Blanchard's crap has been debunked for a long time. You know, like, and then when you find a trans person who's not sexually aroused by the clothes, Blanchard brings up the transvestic fetishism model. It's not the clothing that is the trigger anymore, but the ideal of becoming a woman. Yeah. Mental gymnastics. I mean, and like they said, here's the research again. Argue that if Blanchard is right about his theory, the following hypothesis should reflect reality. Significant more gynophilic, woman-loving trans women will report sexual arousal. Andromorphic, man-loving trans women. That didn't happen. You just come to my page to call me an autogynephile. For what? What reason? Seriously, I'm asking this. What reason? Sexuality and sexual fantasies will play a central role in the lives and the transitioning process of gynophilic trans women. Significantly more gynophilic than andromorphic trans women will claim to have been motivated to transition by sexual desire and the desire to realize sexual fantasies. And guess what? That wasn't in there. This is what you people get for just hating on us so much that you'll pick up any theory no matter how bad it is. Natalie Wynn, aka ContraPoints, did a video just debunking this. I don't see how there could be anyone who actually believed this junk anymore. You have to be pretty damn stupid and ignorant to think, well, that explains you. Okay, remember that Blanchard's theory also requires that only the autogynephiles get aroused by dressing up as women. The androphic trans women do not. I'm terrible at pronouncing these fancy scientific words. Tackett is men out there. The German researchers, however, point out that several studies, including Blanchard's own, document that many androphilic trans also reported sexual arousal in association with cross-dressing. And you believe it. Bless her heart, I think all she wanted really was attention. Well, you got it. Okay, and everybody's like, oh, Michelle, you're saying that the bisexual trans person basically tears his ideal apart. How? This is from the same article. Yeah, I told you, this was a dandy. This is important for Blanchard because, as noted, he wants to reduce the transgender identities of male-attracted trans women to a form of male homosexuality. If you find bisexual trans women in this group, that part of the theory falls apart. Guess what it did? There are lots of trans bisexual people. Next up, Blanchard still thinks that both gay and trans people are mentally ill, but trans women who love women, including those he calls the pseudo-bisexuals, are doubly so. Unlike the andromorphic man-woman, man-loving trans women, they are basically in love with the image of their inner female self, as Blanchard sees it. They are suffering from an erotic target location error. They are autogynephiles. Or autogynephiliacs, my bad. You know, I really feel bad for people like you. I do. To make other people's life miserable, because you're a miserable piece of crap yourself, that says more about you than it does me. We have so much capacity for good on this planet, but instead we choose to be very hateful and hurtful to people. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't know you. But all I know is that you're making a video that could harm my mental being. But of course you don't care. You'll probably just mock that. That's the difference between people like you and people like me. I want you to live a full, healthy life. I hope that you do. I can't let you do this to me just because you go creeping around my social media, which you called me a pervert and creepy. I think you may want to take a look at yourself before you accuse me of anything. Back to Blanchard's theory. And also, here's this. In line with the hypothesized theory, some authors have suggested that gynephilic trans women may show diminished capacity for heterosexual pair bond formation. Our study does not support this notion, showing comparable engagement in relationships in gynephilic and androphic trans women. Swing and a miss. In other words, there are no differences between the different groups of transgender women as regard to their experience of sexuality, but we can see the effects social transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, and sexism have on all of them. See, you guys are really missing it right here. And I know I laughed at you earlier, but the fact was I was laughing because I can't believe you would believe this nonsense and then try to promote yourself as the most popular trans person. I'm a real trans person. And you constantly go after non-binary people. Their existence has no bearing on you. You're a bully, you're an abuser, and you get a kick out of wanting to hurt others to make yourself feel good. Because you know what autogynephilia does, according to this research? Yeah, same article, folks. Listen to this. By the way, it seems to me that since the term heightened sexual desire is not applied negatively to straight male sex, this ideal is clearly grounded in old-fashioned ideals about what constitutes proper sex. Moreover, the ideal that a heightened sexual desire should be taken as proof of these trans women being men is based on traditional ideals about men being horny hunters and women being low libido prey. It is sexist nonsense. Why do you hate women? Really, this is your line of thinking. Why do you hate women? See, I can do this too. But unlike you, I don't just go with a few pictures and you mock my looks. I don't care. And you get on to people for supporting me. At least I have support, and your blow-up doll of J.K. Rowling don't count, okay? I do hope you get better, I do, but really, you're a sad joke of a human being. This is really sad. It really is. You are really pathetic. Number one, I'm asexual, so I don't care about sex. I dress very conservatively, and you were so ignorant on my page. You were just like, oh, figures dresses like the average autogynephile. Actually, I've taken a look at people who call themselves autogynephiles. If they want to, they can. But fact is, they dress a lot more sexual than I do. I'm very conservatively dressed. And that's what happens with hateful bigots, though. Your ignorance overrides any common sense and logic. You don't have any actual evidence. And if you try to press Ray Blanchard to prove his theory, just like I did, you get blocked. My brother did. Blocked. Tons of other people. Just for asking him to prove his theory. Because he knows that it doesn't hold water. There's nothing substantial about it. Yes, it's out there and are some scientists who believe it, but a lot of them are basically like radical ideologues. This is why nobody with a brain actually takes autogynephilia serious, because you're basically saying that, believe me, Blanchard and them, they just dismiss that there are trans bisexuals and stuff. That's not debunking something, sweetheart. That is just showing your ignorance. The fact that 93% of cis women think they're hot as hell. They wear skimpy clothes and have sexy looks for the camera. So according to your logic, these women are just effeminate males? Is that what you're saying? Because if they're not butch, according to Blanchard, then they're just effeminate gay men. And cis men who think they look hot are just what? Butch lesbians? Oh my god. I'll tell you what, you gave me a good laugh. You did. Waste your life trying to hate on people? For what? I'm a real transsexual. I'm the pick-me girl. I'm the pick-me girl.
step on me and take my rights away. You can use me as a human shield. You can do anything with me just to get your way, my lords and masters.
They're like those people who sell out their own kind. The blacks who sold out blacks during, the Civil War and slavery and stuff, and the Jews who turned other Jewish people in who were trying to get out. No, I'm not comparing what trans women go through and trans men to the Holocaust. I'm talking about the betrayal. That you don't care if we get hurt or anything. And oh, by the way, a lot of neo-Nazis agree with Ray Blanchard and you. Not me. They think trans people are crazy and things like that, So that's on your people. So, you probably thought I'd get mad and stuff. You're a joke. Do I hope you have a good life? Yes, I do. But the fact is, you're a sad, pathetic joke of a human being who's not as great or as beautiful as you think you are. You have a very ugly, disgusting soul. I think it's sad. You're so worried about acceptance from gender criticals and apparently Nazis and KKK and everything. These far right and far radical feminists and whoever, that you don't care who you hurt. And one of these days, it will come back to bite you in the rear end. This is Michelle and Tackett. Have a good one, y'all.